Welcome back to Dear Katie, where I answer your social media questions. Do you have a question? If so, head over to dearkatie.leaders-online.com and submit it. It might just be covered in an upcoming episode. To make sure that you stay up to date on Dear Katie, ensure that you're subscribed at leaders-online.com/blog. And if you're watching live, be sure to comment down below if summer has hit where you're at. It is suddenly so hot here in Kansas, and I'm constantly asking myself, why do I stay in Kansas? But we have amazing family and friends here, so that's what keeps me. And if you're joining on replay, comment down below replay and let me know where you're tuning in from. So this week we have two questions. The first question I'm going to be covering in my Saturday email, and the second we're going to be covering live here today. So the first question is, where does someone find time to manage their social media accounts? Don't they have actual work to do? Great question. And to get my answer to that question, be sure that you are subscribed once again to leaders-online.com/blog. Now, the second question is the one that we're going to be diving into today is, how can I build my audience? I've been on social media for years, but I've mostly been what people call a scroller. If you are starting from zero, what would you recommend? So I love this question. I love that the person self-identified as a scroller because I think a lot of us can also relate. We have been consuming social media for many months, often many years, and we consume it all the time, but we aren't actually building our audience. We aren't actually creating on these platforms. And so for this person, I want to give them very actionable tactics that can be built upon a strong foundation. So, just like a house, you first have to build that foundation to get anything of value out of building onto it. Because if you don't have a strong foundation and you build on top of it, it's just going to fall apart. So, here's what I would do, where I would start, and how I would build an audience from scratch if I had to start from zero today. Now, the first thing is that you really need to get clear on who your ideal audience member is. If you aren't clear on them and how you can help them, then how can they even know that they're supposed to be a part of your audience? And so, the more specific, the more narrow that you go, the easier this is going to be for you. So, think about it. If someone says that they provide IT services to a business owner, does this resonate with you? For most of us listening, probably not, because business owner is so broad. Now, if you're an accountant or a CPA and they say, hey, I provide IT services to accountants, now you have my attention if I'm an accountant. So go narrow before you go wide. And remember, this can just be a marketing niche. So do I think you should niche? Absolutely. And this doesn't mean that you have to get rid of all of your other clients that aren't in this target audience that you pick. You can continue to serve them. This simply gives you focus and allows you to craft a strategy for actually building your audience. Okay, so once you know who your target audience member is, then I want you to pick one single platform. I would not try to be on LinkedIn and Facebook and TikTok and YouTube and be everywhere all at once. You should just focus and get really good at one. And if you're like, I don't know which one to pick, here's my favorite way to start narrowing it down, because there are a lot of platforms available for you to pick from. So one, ask where your ideal client hangs out. Which platform or platforms are they on the most? And likely they're going to be on multiple platforms these days. So where do they hang out? And then what platform plays to your strengths? So for example, on Instagram, if you aren't a fan of posting videos or photos, Instagram, even if your ideal client's on there, it's probably not the best platform for you to utilize. So ask yourself those two questions and then pick one platform and go all in on it. So what does going all in look like? So the first thing you want to do is you have to commit to connecting with people every single day. I would aim to connect with 20 new people a day. Depending on your platform, you might be able to do more than this. So like Twitter versus LinkedIn. LinkedIn's stricter about how many people you can actually go out and connect with. And how would I go about finding these people? So there's a couple of ways you can do it. And number 4 that I'm going to share with you, it's my favorite way to do it. So one, you can find them directly. So for example, if you're on LinkedIn, you can use Sales Navigator. You can create searches that are really specific for who this is you're trying to reach. Maybe it's owners of manufacturing companies in Florida. You can create a search for that. You can even make it more specific, like the size of headcount and so forth. It's very easy to find these people. You can also get in groups. So, like Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups. Groups can make it really easy because people are congregating in a central location. Now, another thing you can do is consider hashtags. So, we've got hashtags on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok. We've got hashtags on a lot of platforms. Those can help you find your ideal audience members. And this, number 4, this is my favorite way to grow an audience without having to do everything so one by one. So ask yourself who already holds the attention of who you're trying to reach and go there. So think about key influencers in the space that have a goal of serving in the same way. I'm going to use accountants, for example. Let's say that you help businesses grow. And let's say that one of our clients, they worked with health coaches. That was their big focus, that they wanted to blow up that niche. And what we did is we identified business coaches for health coaches, and we went to them and we built a relationship with just a few of those key influencers in the space because they both had the same goal. They were both serving the same audience that wanted to grow health coaches' businesses. And from there, rather than having to go to all the health coaches one-on-one, they had this central location, for one, to serve that group because they built a relationship with the owner of the group, but two, they could see like questions that these health coaches were being asked. They could see where their pain points were. They would always have a central location to go to actually find more of them. So think about who already holds the attention of who you're trying to reach and start there. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Okay, and if this is making sense so far, comment in the wherever you're joining, just post a comment that this is making sense. If you have questions, be sure to ask them as well. We're talking about how to build your audience from scratch today. And just to recap where we started from is one, you need to get very, very clear on who it is that you are looking to serve. Who are you looking to build an audience around? Go narrow before you go wide. Then you're going to pick one platform based upon where this ideal audience member, where are they hanging out, and what platform serves you the best. What platform is going to work for your ideas that work well for you for creating content. The third thing is you're going to commit to connecting with your ideal audience member every single day. So from there, now that we started connecting with them, what's next? The next thing is we actually need to start conversations with these people. And it's kind of funny because whenever I'm talking to clients about this and starting conversations, we talk to people every day. But when it comes to starting conversations on the internet, we can be like, wait, I don't know what to say. How do I start up a conversation? It's like the computer creates this boundary between us as humans where we forget how to have conversations. And so it's actually really easy to start conversations and build relationships online whenever you focus on the other person. So a few ways that you can start these conversations, you can have them in the DM through the direct message. You could also start them on content, and I'll give you some examples. There's a lot of ways you can go about doing this, but here's some examples. Let's say that you are in a Facebook group and you see someone posting that they are looking for an accountant. So you could then say, hey, name, I checked out your website. I love what you do and would like to learn a little bit more about exactly what you're looking for in an accountant. Can I send you a DM? So there you ask for permission to send them a DM. Maybe it's not so straightforward that this person, they are looking for an accountant, but you come across their Instagram page and you just want to start a conversation with them. You can say like, hey, Sam, I came across your Instagram page. I noticed you have 2 kids. They are so cute and they look like they're about the same age as my kids. How's summer break been treating you? Just start a conversation. Or maybe you're on LinkedIn and you come across Eric and you say, hey, Eric, I noticed you owned a manufacturing plant for the past 10 years. That's awesome. How'd you get involved in the industry? So just ask people questions about themselves, and it becomes really easy to have that conversation. And depending upon where you're at in your journey, there might be some things that you can offer them. So maybe you then ask them about their goals. And so from there, they say, hey, I'm looking to grow my business by the end of the year. And you actually have a handout that you can offer them that is going to give them a simple way to track their goals, to measure their goals, to see if they're hitting them. Then you could offer that to them at that point. So you don't need this resource, or maybe you have a newsletter, you don't need these things up front, but they can definitely help you actually take your audience from this platform and move them into your own ecosystem, which is going to be important, but we can talk about that during a different live. Okay, so thanks, Stephanie. Glad to hear that it is making sense. As always, just let me know if you have any questions for me. All right, so now we have picked our target audience, we picked our platform, we're committing to connecting with people, we're starting conversations with these people that we're connecting with. Now what? So now you want to actually think about content. And content is something that a lot of people think that they can just post content and that is going to be enough to build their audience. And while content definitely helps, it is fuel to a fire. If you simply just had sticks on the ground and you did not have a fire going, like there is no heat coming off as those sticks are doing nothing. And so you have to be doing all those other things first or in tandem with creating content to maximize your efforts and the outcome that you are looking to achieve. So, content is not something that you can just create and kind of hide behind, which I see people try to do. You need to be going out and connecting with your ideal audience member, having conversations. And so, whenever we talk about content, this is also in itself a huge conversation. And I'm happy to cover content best practices. If that's something that you guys want to learn more about, we can talk about how to structure posts, how to come up with ideas for posts. There's a lot of things that we can cover with content, but I would aim to post 2 to 3 times a week, depending upon your platform. And that will get you a great start in actually supporting building your audience. So to recap, define your audience, pick your platform. Whenever you pick your platform, you want to optimize it for your target audience member. You want to add 20 people a day and then start conversations with these people that you're adding, post helpful content 2 to 3 times a week. And then, as a bonus, what I would do on those days that you aren't posting content, I would engage on other people's content. This can be a huge way, again, to build your audience, build the know, like, and trust in your industry. And you don't have to always be creating content. You can still be participating in conversations through other people's content. So from there, I'd rinse and repeat. It is a lot of work to build an audience, but I have never met one person who said that doing so wasn't worth it. So whether you are looking to grow your business, attract talent, get opportunities like to speak, to write a book, to be on podcasts, whatever you want to do, having an audience, that's going to serve you in a multitude of ways. So if you want to hear my answer to the first question, where does someone find time to manage their social media accounts? Don't they have actual work to do? Make sure again that you are subscribed to leaders-online.com/blog. Subscribe to my newsletter there, and I will be addressing it on Saturday morning. And then, as always, if you have a question, go over to dearkatie.leaders-online.com and submit it there. So thanks everyone who joined me live. As always, if you have questions, drop them in the comments, even if you're on replay, and I'm here to help you out. So thanks again, everyone, and I will see you not next week. Next week I'm on vacation, but the following week I will see you then. Talk to you later.